That flight's really nice.
Oh, it's way better.
Cleaner strike too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point and something that will be underestimated for a lie angle change is how much it cleans up contact.
Totally.
The ball speed that you gain from efficiently getting that club through the strike area is a massive thing to be gained. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Absolutely delighted today to have a guest with us in the studio, Mr. Chris Freitag, long-time customer, client, and friend.
An OG customer.
An OG from As the Head Covers and Towel in the Bag show. Chris, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It's an absolute delight to be here. It's always a lot of fun.
We're absolutely delighted you could be part of the follower fitting series. It's been a lot of fun to meet new people and do these follower fittings with some people maybe who haven't been fit as much. That is not the case with you. You're a regular in the formerly TXG studios, but you're certainly now a regular in the Club Champion studios.
Absolutely, and will continue to be.
I love it.
Love it.
Very cool. Today, because you are such a regular, Chris, we're kind of looking at the bag as an overview as to 2024 season. I'm just going to dive into a little bit of some of the off-season sort of changes you've had. You had a surgery and you've went through some changes. Tell us a little bit about that and what you think that now means for your needs in the golf bag.
Well, I had a hip replacement, so now I can walk again. Everything's leveled, but it's also changed my gait.
Right.
And it has probably changed my golf swing a touch, so I have to get back, relearn. As we're heading into the season, it's an opportunity to tweak the bag.
Yep.
Can I make things a little bit better? I mean, you guys fitted the whole bag anyways, so it's fabulous. But can it be better? Yeah, maybe here, maybe there, but that's where I rely on your magic and wizardry, or actually your expertise.
Well, the great thing is, this isn't going to be a conventional follower fit. And it's one of the reasons I wanted Chris to be this month's follower fit, because I don't want to ever project that there's a false sense of everyone who walks in the door gets monstrous gains and we change your driver by 40 yards. That's not how it goes. And it only is that way if you've really neglected your clubs and you've left it too long.
Yeah.
In actual fact, if you're coming in fairly regularly, and we always talk about that relationship we want to build with our clients like we have with Chris, we want to be able to look at it and say, can we get 1 or 2%? The standard industry average for improvement is 3%. I'm happy if we see anything like that with Chris. If we start seeing people gain 30 yards in their driver when they're already hitting it 270, that's almost means they were really in the wrong stuff before, Mikey.
Poorly fit in the beginning. And the nice thing, Chris, too, is like he's a big numbers guy.
Yes.
Loves his Arcos numbers, loves his fitting data. And when Chris, when you first came into our studio almost 8 years ago, you know, higher handicap, you know, about to kind of retire and play more golf. Now you're playing 150 plus rounds of golf. But as you've been fitted, that handicap's come down, which is nice to see. But your handicap's now at a level where we're trying to get that marginal gain out of every single club in your bag. And this will be a good fitting because you have a full set of custom bats, and those could last you another 3-5 years if you wanted to. But we're checking them to make sure where they're at, and I'm sure there's something out of this today that you'll be like, okay, there's the aha moment of the fit where it could just take your game to that next level again.
Well, that's why I love coming here, because every time I come, I always learn something. And so, yeah, this is more of a tweak. Can it get better? And I'm pretty sure it can. And that's why I come regularly, like at least twice a year, to try different things. And if there's a significant difference, it's in the bag. It's in the bag.
Exactly. All right, why don't we dive in there? JPX 921 Hot Metal Pros Accra IS8 irons, fit by Dean? Or these
were fit by Chris.
Chris Kendall.
Chris Kendall,
yeah.
Excellent.
Professor.
The brilliant Professor Chris. Okay, let's dive in there. Callaway, last year's Chrome Soft.
LS.
LS, okay, low spin ball. Okay, let's dive in. Strong ball flight that, Chris.
Oh, I'm very happy if that's on the course. The one downside with the data is you sometimes have the bad habit of chasing numbers.
Yeah.
Which leads you down a rabbit hole.
Can do.
Whereas on the golf course, you'd be absolutely thrilled.
Sometimes I think if we just when we see some of our customers, Chris, and they get too into the numbers on the left-hand side of the page there, I kind of like to just turn it off and just let them just react to the results like we would on the course, be a little bit more, shot by shot biased.
Well, I mean, my philosophy is just hit good shots.
Yeah.
So it's because you're not carrying a launch monitor in your bag.
No.
At least not yet.
Microchips in our clubs. I think that's what's next.
You should put it in the balls. You can mention how much balls you'd sell. Find your balls.
The problem, they actually could do that quite easily, but the problem is they would people would
Time
lose
for
their
sales.
Are you pretty happy just playing something that kind of starts a little left, falls a little right? Is that what you kind of look for in the course? If you're to set out 6-iron, 165, 170 club, by the looks of it, around that?
As long as it's reasonably straight, I don't like a lot of curvature.
Yeah.
My natural stroke is a little steep, a little out to in.
Yep.
So it's more of a bit of a cut. I don't like to see the screaming hooks or the slices.
Right.
So as long as it stays in the fairway or put it on the green.
Sure. Okay.
Comes in a little low, eh?
I think that's the genius in that chromoly material, Chris, is it gives the engineers the options and the elasticity and strength to play with that design, allow the face to flex and be very impactful on the distance. But the vibration effect on it is, with all that ribbing under the cavity, it just disperses the kind of vibration and miss hit, or what translates to a miss hit feel, and it still feels like a Mizuno. It's hard for companies to make the distance iron and still keep the feel. It's a bit of a trade-off.
No, I know. I mean, distance-wise, they're probably half a club longer than the Forge. The Forge are much softer feeling, but I do love these.
Yeah.
So that's why distance-wise, if I'm around the same distance, more for gapping purposes, I'm happy.
Definitely. All right, let me borrow that one. I'm going to just take a look at the loft and lie on it. All right, Chris, I'll play around with some loft and lie things here just to see what we can do with your clubs and see if this is a subtle tweak that we talked about, or is it something we actually need to dive in a little bit deeper and maybe explore some other things. But let's retest yours at this new loft and lie.
No, and I'm looking forward to that because I haven't done the loft and lies in a while.
Right.
So just doing that is huge.
That's a good strike.
Sounded awesome.
Good strike.
That was a nice one. You tweaked the loft a bit?
Tweaked the loft a little bit, but more importantly, I think well, I'd say more importantly, are equally as important, but the lie angle. So the first we were looking at your lie angle being as much as 9 degrees toe down, but it was, so 7. So again, different compensations that can sneak in from time to time. So 9 leaves me a little uncomfortable, even 7 on the average does. This is a little bit more.
Well, we're getting more into where it should be.
Yeah.
As opposed, mine is, that's. Okay.
So wanted to dive into a little bit of height stuff as well. Mike and I were kind of just looking at launch angle as an opportunity. I don't mind where your spin is at times. You create enough spin, plenty of spin. But Chris, one of the things that I think people underestimate in an iron fitting, they think spin is their ability to stop the ball. It's actually not, right? So I can throw a ball, I can spin it, right? So I can throw the ball over to you, spin it, and it can go check, 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 then roll out. I can throw it up and drop it, and the vertical nature of the ball's descent is what stops the ball. Yep. And it's the same with iron. So if we go into that last shot of yours there, coming in at first one in the 40s, 41.3.
Hallelujah.
We need to see more of that for you in order to give you that stopping power. The spin is your ability to manage distance control. Oh. So we don't want that fluctuating too much. So I always think the number under spin is more important than the spin. That's the standard deviation and how it fluctuates and your sort of ability to manage that window of the least spin to the most. That's more important than what the actual number is.
You know, and that's the one thing I needed. I needed the height, and more importantly, the land angle for the stopping power.
Without a doubt.
And that's immediately noticeable.
Good, good.
Which-
Okay, give me 2 more with that.
Yeah.
That flight's really nice.
Oh, it's way better.
Cleaner strike too.
Yeah, I think that's a great point and something that will be underestimated for a lie angle change is how much it cleans up contact.
Totally.
The ball speed that you gain from efficiently getting that club through the strike area is a massive thing to be gained.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, those are 2
That's
identical
huge.
shots.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
exactly
Look at
the
that
same.
standard deviation, 7.
I'm loving this.
It's insane. Okay, throw me in one more little change, Chris. I'm going to throw you a Pro V1X.
My normal ball.
Let's just see what that just does to the window.
Better strike, just a little pulley.
Launch came down a little bit. Interesting. That's going to be up a bit, I think, in spin. Let's pop back into your Callaway golf ball.
Okay.
Callaway ball, golf ball doesn't fluctuate as much.
Doesn't fluctuate, and also it manages when that one is. It doesn't kick the spin up
Yeah.
nearly as much. So I do like the kind of impact of the adjustment we're making. I mean, that last one there, 3.6 degrees toe down, really, really nice. Launch angle has definitely come up.
Descent's up too, which is nice. 37 to 41.
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
I'd be like, just that alone, I'm overjoyed.
Yeah. So I think in that window of just looking at your own irons, those are this is exactly what we talk about, those marginal gains of being fit year in, year out. What do we see? What changes? Chris has went through some things with his hip and he's coming out the other side of that, potentially a little bit different in his movement pattern. That's all to be expected. So really the swing that you gave us was basically the same swing. I mean, angle of attack, and golfers always say to us, I'm not really consistent as a golfer. No, there's things that you do that aren't consistent, but there are lots that you do, especially someone who plays as much golf as you. I would absolutely expect angle of attack and path to be very consistent, and they are. The thing that fluctuates a little bit is face angle, not much, but the contribution of that dynamic loft and obviously dynamic lie and dynamic loft is massive.
I think the one thing not to discount is we did play with golf ball there. So
We looked at it, yeah.
Chrome Soft XLS is what you're gaming right now. We put a Pro V1X in on the miss hit, the one that kind of bleeds out to the right. It hurt you more than anything. It, spin kicked up to 6,000. Back to the LS, and it's such a finer window of spin for you that you can miss it or hit a good one, and it's not really they're gonna be very tight, very similar, which is nice. So again, you've been fit for all your sticks and just doing a quick ball test. I know you said earlier you have a baggie full of golf balls, but to do a ball test, again, this is, helps kind of dial in what you could play this year to, again, marginal gain to play better.
No, and just the loft and lie adjustment you made. I'm now hitting center of face as opposed to bottom.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah, strike feels better.
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah.
It's and I'm getting additional height. So like it's win-win-win.
Definitely.
So
Well, let's look at one more variable. I'm going to give you a couple of other head options to try, because if we leave in that scenario, I think we're all saying good.
Yeah.
oh,
We're happy.
If that's all it takes,
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic.
Exactly. So, but let's hit a couple of things and let's see kind of what the options in the drawer look like in 2024 for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot
This
of
is where
force.
your magic comes in.
Too many.
That's
Swing.
nice.
Gorgeous.
It sounded really good. That dynamic lie so
Wow.
much better.
Night and day.
Peak height, close to 80. Descent angle, steeper. Really good.
Ooh.
Good strike.
There we go.
Really good.
Go in. Free drinks.
The only drinks you're interested in,
Ah,
isn't it? The free ones
exactly.
these days.
That's right.
Yeah, you know you're.
No, he wants a nice bottle of wine.
No, it's somebody
Or
else's
two.
time, Chris. So if we look over here again, we've got some really nice gains going on, but if we're being really truthful, it's very similar to
same.
Chris's.
Yeah.
I love what we're seeing. And we've got a little bit of a change going on here.
I like
Oh,
that.
I like that.
Yeah, we've made a big improvement from 7.1 down to 2.8. The difference is, Chris, we actually added another ½ inch of length onto your clubs.
Ah, okay.
So that's where we push the dynamic lie angle that little bit more, and also try to change your path a little bit. Generally speaking, if we can get a longer club in your hand, we can move that path a little bit more rightward, which changes the face-to-path relationship and just neutralizes things a little bit more. So there's not the tendency to come over it quite as much.
I'm loving this. That's why that's why I love coming in for fittings, because I always learn something. But wow.
So if we were to take out that middle one where we adjusted yours, I mean, the club data actually is quite interesting.
Yeah.
A mile an hour and 1.5 mile an hour of speed, some more loft, less dynamic lie, face angle more closed and closer to the
Yeah,
path.
better path, yeah.
All wins.
Those are huge.
And there's the
Yeah.
the-
Well,
the king.
there's the money shot.
When we were picking heads, we said it'd be great you can get 80 feet in the air, and we were talking about some HL heads. Obviously, that's what this has done. But again, you look at your original one that we kind of made adjustments to.
Yeah.
It's very close, but just you being a little bit higher, using a lower spinning ball too. I think that's just a little security back of your mind for the season. You'll just hold more greens.
I'm ecstatic with this. Just on the height and consistency alone.
Yep.
So
I think what I'd like to do with your set is just kind of make that tweak the loft and lie. You've only just changed those shafts out, but I would like to get that extra ½ inch on there for you.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. There's a few different ways we can go around that. So if you're coming in here and I'm going to lay the options on the table for you as one of our clients,
Yeah.
I'd be totally truthful and say we can take your set and we can actually take your iron set out. We can shift them down one and replace one shaft rather than placing all the shafts. And we're only changing flex by about 1/3 of a flex.
That's nothing.
Right, so we're effectively soft stepping. So
Okay.
we're going to pull them all out. We're going to shift them up one. We gain the ½ inch in length. We put one new shaft in there for you. We change flex by 1/3. I don't think that's an issue anyway. We're there to back up the decision to do that, and we're going to retest it once it's done. I think we're going to look at each other and go,
And I'm doing a happy dance.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's a steal.
How's that grip feel?
I like the grip.
Okay, we went a little larger than what you're currently using. So just to kind of clean up, more for comfort than anything. We looked at each other and said, Tour Velvet's a little too skinny. I know you use Tour Velvet Aligns, but that's just backed up.
That was
plus
more
4
on the
mid-size.
wedges, and that's why I play. But I find with these, they're a little bit thicker. They take more of the hands and wrists out of play, and I'm more consistent.
Yeah.
So that's another aha in terms of which grip I need to play.
I love that, Chris. Well, I mean, I think in terms of what's needed, tweak was what was needed. We pulled some other heads there, but in all honesty, we don't really need to. We want to make Chris's set better than what it is today. I think we've accomplished that. And the clubs are still working really, really nicely. There's no need to dive in at this point into the drawer of heads and start looking through. And, I think what you have is really, really good. The efficiency that you're getting out of them
So good.
is excellent. I think we're right where we need to be.
I'd like to see follow up with some Arcos data because you'll play probably 30 rounds in the next week and a half. So once they're reshafted, I'd love to see the difference between, the old set that is, an inch shorter and flatter to now, more upright and an inch longer.
No, absolutely. But the beauty is it shows you how well you fit it the first time.
Yeah, that is, if we get it right first time, then that's
Yeah.
the foundation, and everything's little incremental movements from there. You're right.
But I'm
absolutely right.
ecstatic with these changes.
Good.
Because for me, that'll give me the more consistency I need and looking for. Wow. Who knew?
Well, I think for the audience that you're representing today, Chris, from a speed perspective, and I think the messaging that I think this fit gives out to our audience is establishing that relationship first and foremost is key.
Totally.
That's where this has to stem from, and then building on that and being as diligent as you are to come in and making sure that you come in and check this stuff. Like you said, a couple of times a year, You walk in this place, you walk in our place in Mississauga, everyone knows who Chris Freitag is, right? You come in, you pull a seat, you chat
Lawn
with the
chair,
boys.
the lawn chair's
yeah,
out.
the lawn chair's out. But like that's what it's all about. That's the relationship that we want with you.
Oh, it's,
everyone.
I love coming.
Good man. Well, we are going to tackle your wedges. We're going to tackle those at a later date. We need especially now that we're going another half inch on the length. We want to get some options that we can test the wedges for you. You do some cool things with the wedges. You've got a 46 Vokey that you play at 48. Might weaken that for you to give you some more bounce. Because as we can see in the angle of attack and the path, the sort of steepening motion does tend to get you into the ground a little bit. So that's something you guys worked on to get a little bit more bounce.
Yeah.
So you've got 48, you've got 54, 12 degree D grind.
Correct.
And you've got a 58
M grind.
08, which you're playing at 59.09 effectively. So that's your 3 wedges right now. You also have some heavier shafts in those. You've got some Dynamic Gold 120s in there.
Well, that was the other question because when you look at these shafts, 85 grams.
Sure.
But I'm playing basically tour level shafts in my wedges.
Yep.
And so the question is, are they the most appropriate shaft for those wedges?
Definitely. Well, that is that's our follow-up together. I think that would be fantastic to do that one with you. We'll kind of build some stuff up with the changes in mind. You were saying like you're pretty happy with how the wedges are performing in terms of the lofts and bounces and things like that. We just want to again double check are they optimized.
If we can tweak them, I'm all over that.
I think the important thing with your wedges too, Chris, you said he's got 150 rounds of golf on them.
Well,
You understand that they're torched in a way, right? Spin is dropped, and you're for those marginal gains we're looking at. You know the numbers you're looking for. 150 rounds is a lot of golf on one set of wedges.
I need new wedges. I know that. Most people would say they're a year and a half old. They need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Great. Well, always fun having you in. Even more fun that we got a chance to do it on the channel.
Oh, this has been awesome. Love it.
Very cool. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that and gleaned some learnings from it. We always think that showing you a different type of a fit will show you more of what we do as a company and as a fitting store. It's not always what people think it is. That we're into the shafts. It doesn't have to be the heavy hit on the wallet either.
No.
If you do it regularly, little and often, that is more impactful, I think, than having to do it, and change everything every 5 or 6 years, and that can be almost a little bit tougher because you lose that continuity of the relationship throughout the time, and you'll see that sort of decrease, that drop in performance, and then you pick it back up again. So with the way Chris deals with it, he doesn't have the peaks and troughs in his golf game that most people have.
Definitely. Cool.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. We love the follower fittings. We hope you guys like it too. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.